Hey, gang. Thank you for a very thorough discussion this week. It looks like people put a lot of time and energy and effort into reading the material and getting to educate themselves, if you haven't already heard from me before in the past, on the impact of adverse childhood experiences. That being said, I want to make a few concluding comments before you jump too far into the readings and material for this next week coming up. First of all, I'm gonna mention resilience, and I the resilience portion of this presentation has grown over the years because there are more and more research articles being published that speak to ways in which we can mitigate the effects of ACEs, and especially the neurological damage that can be done by prolonged exposure to cortisol. And one of the more interesting research studies I've come across was actually brought to my attention by a student in a human growth and development class. And it spoke to the influence of oxytocin as a mitigating chemical messenger for the influence of cortisol. So they did an experiment where they exposed rats to extremely high, stressful situations, anxiety-provoking situations. The rats had extremely high levels of cortisol. Of course, they were, seeing the detrimental impact on neural development in the rats. Now, they gave the rats a dose of something called oxytocin. Oxytocin is a chemical that's released when humans experience a bonding moment, when humans bond together. I think mother-child, the eye-to-eye gaze, the whole, safety kind of belongingness when you're together with somebody, that oxytocin. And so they gave him this dose of oxytocin, and it reversed the effects. It caused neurogenesis. It reversed a lot of the impact from the cortisol. And so obviously, I know there'll be pharmaceutical companies out there hunting down, okay, what can I do for oxytocin in humans? But what we can do as individuals, as teachers, as counselors, what we can do is we can create a situation where, and research has shown this, that even in the short 45-second to 60-second, 1-minute bursts of prolonged, individualized attention, eye-to-eye gaze, same level interaction, empathetic genuineness, can release this oxytocin. So it's not like we need a pharmaceutical company to come and give us a pill or a shot for this. We can do this with our interactions with people, okay? Letting them know that they're cared for, that they're safe. That releases, and even in these short bursts, even these short little, intense, and I'm not talking like give somebody, a prolonged hug or anything. I'm just talking about giving them your undivided attention, empathic attention. Think Carl Rogers in this, and just really being a genuine person with them. So that goes for teachers, that goes for counselors, something to reflect on. I'd also, many of you mentioned, why isn't this disseminated in the schools? So I will tell you some positive information, at least for the Enid community here around Northwestern and Enid. Their district has initiated a project to disseminate ACE information to teachers throughout the district. So they're taking steps to become a trauma-informed, a trauma-sensitive school system. I see this gaining traction. So again, if you're in a smaller or rural area, I encourage you to try to, if you need an in-service or speaker or something like that, I have limited amounts of time, but I can come and try to educate the folks. But it is making a difference. And even in like the last little thing I just shared, just the minute of bonding that you can experience can mitigate some of these things. So yeah, that understanding, that awareness, and a couple of other things. A couple of folks mentioned, loved ones that have IACEs, their own experiences with ACEs. People in the helping profession tend to have higher ACEs. I don't know if that came out in the videos, but consistently, people that go into social work, mental health, even nursing, tend to have higher levels of ACEs themselves. So what that tells me are the folks that are resilient, that do have those resilience factors, or have had at least one compassionate, caring adult that's, always been there, tend to reach out and help others with that. So don't necessarily view that as a detriment. Obviously, if you're struggling with stress, anxiety, your own cortisol levels, those are something to try to manage. Those are something to, either if you need to seek counseling yourself, or just really go through a regimen to take care of yourself daily, to mitigate and manage those cortisol levels in yourself. Make sure that you do that. But again, folks that are in the helping profession tend to have these higher ACEs. One other thing, okay, yeah, probably, we mentioned people are like, what do you do? There's nothing that can be done. Well, actually, the authors of the ACE study really, they're not interested in mental health too much, but they're interested in prevention. And so they're interested in resources for people, resources for kids, disseminating this information, early childhood programs, ACE education, awareness among parents, among teachers, among the community, where it's not this just, well, they just need to get their stuff together and do better. It's not about that. It's about, reaching out, giving a hand, having an empathetic eye and empathetic ear to what's going on. So just be aware that, hopefully this is helping you move forward in our discussion of addiction in families. It should do a lot to help you make sense of why there's dysfunction, generationally in families, and also give you a handle on the roots of addiction. So hopefully this has been helpful. Always reach out to me, email me if you encounter questions or problems. Otherwise, good work. Keep it up. I'll see you online.